So the first thing to consider is the delivery. The guys will bring it in, get them to take it to the room where you're actually going to be using the machine. They are on wheels, so when they're built, you can move them around. But while it's in the box, you will need 2 to 3 people to move this box. And also allow time to unpack. I would just really take your time and allow 45 minutes just to get this bike fully unpacked, all the packaging away, and there will be quite a bit to get rid of before you even start building. And if you haven't bought your bike yet, then I'll put a link in the description. That link will take you to NordicTrack's website, and using my link actually really helps support the channel and is greatly appreciated. Let's get building. We are all unpacked. You can see all the components here. We've got the handlebars, we've got the bracket for the screen, we've got the weights, we've got the seat and the seat post and the tablet. So the tablet is in a box and I've only unpacked it just to show you around. So leave it in the box until you're ready to use it. As well as that, you've got all the tools you're going to need, as well as the manual, and all the screws and bolts, etc. are very well labelled in their blister packs. Step 1 is to register your bike, which is important. You can get the details you need down here, but it's more easily to actually get them off this sticker here. But I want to show you step 3 before I show you step 2. So step 3 is to get this wire here, which is from the bike part up until to the tablet, which will be up here somewhere. Now it says insert the wire here, and there's nothing there for it to go into. And it might feel like you want to insert it below instead, but it's actually slightly higher than the sticker. So if I put my finger in there and wiggle it about, you should be able to see. So the handlebar post is actually very easy to fit. It says front there. It's got 2 little lugs on there, and the lugs fit there. So it only really goes in one way. Just going to release the knob there, push that down to the bottom. It will reach its natural bottom and stop there. When it comes to the cabling around your bike, I would encourage you not to cut things. So there is a cable tie on here, and then I'm just gonna undo it. I'm not gonna cut anything, just because if you make a mistake, it's just really inconvenient if you start cutting cables by accident. And we're gonna leave that on there. That's because from our blister pack, we're actually going fishing with this wire. And that's gonna go in the top of here. And it's gonna come out, if I get it right, just about there. I don't know if you can see it wiggling about. This is fiddly, and I'm doing it one-handed, but you just feed the cable through, and then it comes out the top. And once it's out the top, we don't need to undo it, we just unclip it and then discard this part. We want the cable to come out the front, so then we just push it out the front, and then it will connect to the tablet. Now in your screw pack, we're going to be using screws number 93 to put the handlebars on, and making sure that I know exactly where the wires are. So I know that this one is here and the wire on the handlebar is here. Because the last thing you want to do is start crushing wires, because that will become very inconvenient. And we're going to pop this on, making sure the wires are apart, as you can see, and making sure nothing's getting pinched. And then I'm going to use the 4 screws to secure this. All the tools you need are in your blister pack, so you don't need additional tools to put this bike together, which is a feature I really like, because on previous generations, you would need to have your own screwdrivers. It's coming together really well already, and we're going to fit the mount, and the monitor will sit on this. And you can see there's cables that come out here. These go into the monitor, and these connect to the 2 cables on the bike. The one that comes out from below, which we fed through, and also the one that's on the handlebar here, which is linked to the controls that are on the handlebars. Now, it's important that you don't pinch wires. So this cable, to stop it falling back in there or getting lost, is tied here. We're gonna untie this before we slide this over it, because we don't want to pinch or damage any cables. So with that now well and truly out of the way, I'm gonna double check it in a moment. In the bag where your cleats are, your SPD cleats, there's also this part, and that just clips on under here. And then whilst absolutely knowing where all the cables are, so I've got these 2 well out of the way, and I know where the 2 are on here, so I'm not pinching anything. I'm gonna slide this on here, like this. And to secure this in place, I'm going to be using this bolt and this washer here. Now, everything you need is in the blister pack. You even get an iFit spanner, you get an iFit screwdriver. It's really well equipped. And this just goes in here like this, It's already threaded on that side, and then I'll get my spanner and tighten it up. It's now time to connect all these wires here, and you can't get these wrong, so they'll only go into one connector. So for instance, this is slightly larger one, will only go into the larger of the other two that you've got. So, and you should hear a click. There is a little ridge on there which you may or may not be able to see, and then that goes on the clip. So you should hear the sound of these clipping together. Let's see. I'm not sure how audible that was. And this will all be covered up, so don't worry about the wires looking messy. I'm just double checking they've gone in and they're tight. And for the back one, which I'll try and do so you can see it as well, there's the lug. That goes in. Not sure if you heard that click or not, but it did click. So these are all in, I'm just checking it all. Yeah, brilliant. Next is the tablet, which is definitely a two-person job. I'm going to use these screws to go into the back of the tablet. There's also a QR code on there if you want more reassurance on connecting these up. I'm just going to push these wires back through because they connect behind here. So on the back of the tablet here, these are the 4 screws, and here's the cable. And with the cable, you're going to have to get this out. So it just might require a little bit of fishing, but it will come out. Obviously, be gentle here, and it doesn't feel great pulling cables on the back of your tablet, but they're in there, and we need to get them out to connect them. There we are. So they're out and ready to be connected, one-handed as well. Cables are out the bottom, so I know that they're out of the way. So I'm bringing the tablet in. As I mentioned, ideally want 2 people for this. And then I'm pushing the cables down. So all the cables are going to be below the monitor. And then it's just a case of tightening the screws up. They've got Loctite on them or something similar. So it's a little bit hard to start them off. And the next thing I'm going to do is connect the wires. Now, you can tilt this back to make access easier under here. And just like the others, they will only go in one way, and they should click. So I don't know if you heard, I'm not sure if you heard that, but it did click. Let's try a better job with the second one. Okay, listen carefully. Thankfully it didn't draw blood, but you can see here that it's all connected. And one thing that NordicTrack have worked hard on, or iFit, is the back of their tablets, because I never used to look that good. I know what you're thinking, this still doesn't look that good, but I've got a plate to fit on the back of here. This has been the worst part, clipping this back on, because as much as they just pop on like that, it was just really fiddly. I think it's because I assumed that these wires would be behind this plate, and I just couldn't get this to go on with the wires behind the plate. So I can only assume, and it doesn't really reference this in the instructions, that's done. The next job is to fit the weight tray, and that's at the front. And we tightened this up before, but because I'm going to cover this, I'm just going to make sure that it's doubly tight, and that just sits over the top. Once again, we're going to use the screws from the bottom side, but we're going to make sure we're hiding the cables and not pinching the cables. So with the weight and tray cable fully installed, making sure that that's not pinched, you then fit the other side, which hides all the cables. We are so close to the end, and I'm enjoying this. But you know when you just start to reach the end of a job, and you're less enthusiastic than how you were at the start. So, seat is the easiest thing to fit, he says. There we are. And then you just adjust it to your height, of course. You may notice that the bike's leaning forward slightly. She looks good, doesn't she? It's on its maximum decline setting for transit. So I've plugged her in. I'm just gonna take this off, come down here, and then down here is your on switch. And then, oh, thank goodness. This is always the most stressful part for me, because you've put all those wires together, haven't you? You've tried not to pinch any wires, and I know that we are the no pinch team, but then you get the result. Although I'm not in New York, so let's change the setting to London. And this is my first look at NordicTrack's brand new tablets. I mean, they're so responsive. Let's get connected to the Wi-Fi. I think NordicTrack have great tablets, but these 2025 tablets, You can see how quick it is. This is just quicker than I can film the bits that it's doing. Check that green line out. It's even downloading the software updates quicker than I've seen any NordicTrack machine do it in the past. This is really impressive. So I've always thought that NordicTrack's most recent tablets are excellent, but I mean, this 2025 one, I'm going to do proper reviews. Let's just see how long it takes to get into a workout. That was quick. Let's check if there's a spinny wheel, because quite often on a NordicTrack workout, you'll get a... Wow. So this is crackers. I'm just going to skip the... That's just the bike adjusting itself. I might have to adjust the camera. Let's bring it back.
You guys, this is it, our final workout of the series. Let's get it going, and I'll explain our workout today.
So you know when you're not unhappy before? I thought the previous versions of these tablets were very good. I've said it 3 times now. This has blown my mind. It's just 10x'd what they had before. And I really like what they had before. Now the bike itself, there are reviews to come on this bike. So don't forget to like and subscribe if you haven't done already. This bike is heavily based on an S22i bike, which is my favorite home connected bike of all time. So I've got really good feeling about this bike. I think it's going to be, yeah, as good as the S22i, if not better. This is certainly a step up. I hope you found this video useful. I've really enjoyed building this bike. It is fiddly sometimes, but I do think if you get to build a bike yourself, you'll really get to know the bike as well. Until next time, see you soon. I wish I could get this bloody sticker. Whose job is it to put stickers on like this? I wish I could find that, but I'm gonna have to get a cloth now. How annoying.